This is the review for the Sand Stalker. Originally released in 2009, this model is a combo model and is made out of two sets, Malum and Firo and Skirmix. The Sand Stalker is a creature that lives on Barra Magna, where it's often used as a steed for traveling Agori or Glitterian, as an alternative to vehicles. The Agori favor the Sand Stalkers, breeding them because of their high endurance, sure footing, and overall great survival instincts. The Sand Stalker is easily the most popular creatures in the 2009 storyline, being referenced in multiple pieces of literature. Though the most famous appearances of the Sand Stalker are in The Crossing, where we see Gress and Strack ride the Sand Stalkers for a good while in the story. We also see Kina, Akar, Stronius, and a few Skrull warriors ride the Sand Stalkers. And in The Riddle of the Great Beings, where Tarduk, Crotesius, and Kerbold set out to find answers about the Red Star. Here, the group uses Sand Stalkers to ride through the scorching deserts of Barra Magna, as well as the chill of the White Quartz Mountains. We also see the traits of the Sand Stalker really tested as the ice, rough terrain, and large predators in the mountains become more evident as the group traveled onward. Taking a look at the model, it is a very simple build. It is primarily built around these two Obmatoran torsos, and they're both there. They both come with the Firo and Skirmix set. The legs are built very simply, just by sticking a bunch of parts together and adding on some armor. And then the feet are these Paraka feet in silver. And then at the front legs, it's also a very simple leg, nothing too crazy. And then for the front hooves, yes, both of the feet are considered hooves. For the front feet, these are the claws that Skirmix has. And it's all very simple. The neck is also attached very simply, just by putting a connector on the Obmatoran torso, and then it connects to the head, which has been modified from the standard Skirmix head, adding in a bunch of silver parts. I could only assume are the horns, tusks, and possibly a tongue. So it's all very nice, looks very good. And then on the back of the Sand Stalker, we have what I assume is the saddle. And it's made of the Malum chest plate. And it looks good. And then you have the Malum claw at the back, which is supposed to be a backrest of sorts. So, overall, the Sand Stalker is pretty good. It's nothing too astonishing, but it's pretty good. Alright, articulation-wise, the Sand Stalker is fairly well articulated. You get two joints at the neck here. You have one at the Obmatoran torso, and then one at the base of the head. And together they can go all the way back, all the way down. So, and then they can move that far to the side, that far to the side. So, good articulation at the neck. You also get jaw movement similar to Skirmix. You also get tongue movement, so it can go out that far, both ways. And you also have movement at the tusks, just because of how they're attached. At the front legs, you get a ball joint, so you can go all the way around. Sometimes it might knock off this armor piece, just because of how the Obmatoran torso is shaped and this piece is shaped. You have a hinged ball joint at the knee, so it can go more than 90 degrees. And then you have a standard ball joint at the ankle, so you get your rotation, forward, back, and a bit of ankle tilt. At the back leg, you get basically the same. You can go all the way around. You get more than 90 degrees of, well, no, not more than 90 degrees, more than 45 degrees of bend there. You get rotation all the way around, ankle tilt, forward, back, very standard. There's also a ball joint here at where the saddle connects, and you can move the Malum claw side to side, but you can't really move it back because these flame bits will run into the raised shoulder of Obmatoran torso. So it can just tilt side to side, but that's about it. So overall for articulation, the Sand Stalker is very good, and it's very unhindered, which is nice. So in the story, we see Agori and Glitterian mainly ride the Sand Stalker. So to have someone ride the Sand Stalker, we're going to take our good buddy Tarduk here, and we're just going to get the Sand Stalker, and you basically will have it in this kind of pose. To get the rider ready, you're just going to spread the legs. That's it. And you're just going to take your Sand Stalker, and you're going to set your rider on top. And you just close the legs around the Obmatoran torsos, and just like that, and then you move the feet down so then they're out of the way, and do that on both sides. And then you pose them however you want. There is no connection points whatsoever, so they are sitting there, and the friction of the ball joints is what is holding on the figure to the Sand Stalker. So that is how you get an Agori on, and just taking him off, you just spread the legs, lift him off. That's simple. To get a Glitterian on the Sand Stalker, it's basically the same thing. We're going to take our buddy Galoo here, and spread his legs, put the Sand Stalker here, sit him down, squeeze his legs, and then the only difference here is you can raise the feet and the lower legs a little more, just so they're not dragging on the ground. Other than that, though, it's basically the same. There's no connection points. They just sit on there. And the nice thing about the design of the Sand Stalker, the back legs will actually get out of the way for lifting the figure who's riding, their feet out of the way, so nothing is interfering with each other while having it on display, which is really nice. So yeah, that is how you get someone riding the Sand Stalker. Alright, size-wise, the Sand Stalker is approximately 24 centimeters long, or 9.5 inches. Height-wise, from the ground to the top of the saddle, it's about 17 centimeters, or 6 3/4 inches. Size comparison-wise, here is the Sand Stalker next to a Mata build. Gonna have to move up, learn this from the last one. Here it is next to a Metro build. And lastly, an Anika build. So, overall, it's a good size. It's not a small little creature, it's fairly large. So, because it has to fit Anika builds on it. So, yeah. Okay. Here it is next to another creature of Barra Magna, the Spigot. And overall, it's about the same size as the Spigot, just has mass in different areas. So, overall, yeah, pretty good. And then finally, here it is next to the two models it is comprised of. Malum and Firo and Skirmix. So, yeah, overall, looks pretty good. I think it's an alright combo model in terms of size. Some of the issues I have with the Sand Stalker are the brittle joints, but that's nothing new for 2008 to 2010 sets. The saddle is kinda small, and because of the pieces used, any figures you sit here will often slide forward and fall off. There's also no way to connect any figures to the Sand Stalker. Now, I'm not saying figures have to be as secure as they are on the Caxium or the Kendox, but something like a connection we see on the Firo and Skirmix set, except reversed, would have gone a long way. Anyway, now the biggest problem I have with this model is not to do with the model. It's how many pieces the model doesn't utilize. There's just so much here that the first time I built this, my first thought was, that's it? My best guess why this happened is because the designers only had 2 pages of a magazine to work with, but still, that's not really a strong excuse why this is such a simple build. And especially considering this is made out of a canister set and a box set. So that's the Sand Stalker, a supporting creature in the world of Barra Magna. Do I recommend you build this? No. The main reason being the brittle joints. It's just not worth risking the fact that the joints might break from building this or rebuilding the original sets. It's unfortunate actually, because it's quite a fun little model that's very simple. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos. And with that, I will see you all next time.